Okay, so what to share on Facebook and Instagram? And this may not be your chosen media, but it kind of applies across the board. So be professional, curious, interested, and share what you do. So you're gonna wanna offer things like, excuse me, links to blog posts, groups, and events. This is going to be a really important way for you to share what you're doing. If you have an event happening, I really encourage you to create an event on Facebook so that people can say that they're going, they can share it with their friends. It's much easier if somebody has something tangible that they can click and share rather than not having anything. So it's really important, or sharing posters, like making little infographics. And I already began to introduce you to Canva as a tool to be able to put together when you're doing a workshop, a group, so that you have this really beautiful way of presenting what you are offering. You also want to post posts and photos about your day, but this must be confidential and have professional boundaries. We're not going to be posting our dinner from last night or the funny thing our dog did. We're going to be posting in a professional way. We're never going to share anything that we wouldn't share professionally. So imagine you're at a conference with your colleagues. If you wouldn't share it there, you're not going to share it on social media. So really being aware of what those boundaries look like, and you might want to map that out for yourself so it becomes really clear. You might know instinctively. You want to post things your clients can relate to. So we've already identified this group that we want to be working with that will be attracted to us and we're kind of in resonance with. What is it that for them that's going to be this overlapping between who we are and what we're passionate about and what they're passionate about and interested in? Where is this overlapping piece? And that's where the gold really is. You can post inspirational images and quotes, and you might post snippets of your work, projects, ideas, or art. You might also show if you have a studio, if you have been making eco art outside, all these little snippets, or even if you're creating a course. Some of the behind the scenes pieces can be really, really enticing to people. Does anybody have any questions so far before I move to the next slide? Okay, great. So the next thing that I want to talk about is do's and don'ts on social media. So do use the branding you created from week 2. Use your color palette, similar imagery, and use your keywords that you identified. You might also use keywords that describe needs. This is really important because we want it to speak to people. We want people to go, yes, it's me. This therapist is talking about me. This is like the way that I'm drawn in. And it helps us keep this consistent flow and form. It helps us choose which images to use, what language to use, because we're really, really clear about what's working for us and our clients. We want to be as authentic as possible whilst maintaining professional boundaries. If we're not authentic, we get really tired, right? Having to wear a mask of the perfect art therapist. And it's like, actually, it's much more about how can we be authentic but be professional at the same time. What again is this overlap for us of like, what is my personality? What is my professional personality? How can I be true to that? So don't let it suck up all your time. We've already touched on this a bit, but we don't need to become social media moguls in order to have an online presence and for it to be effective. Really, we're not actually looking for that many clients that we're working with. We want to have a consistent flow of groups, but we don't need 1,000 or 20,000 followers in order to have success. What we need is different people who are interested in our work that maybe want to come to a group and then they go into personal therapy. Then maybe we have like 5 clients who are doing individual therapy. So we're not even trying to attract that many, but it's an ongoing presence and a welcoming in and a bridging to those people. So it's really not about numbers and having to be like this consistent, I've got to do it. Although you may push a little bit more in the beginning, but you also may not, right? People can find us by searching hashtag art therapist and using keywords, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more later. You also don't have to engage in every platform. And I think that was a really big thing that I realized from the beginning. I was on every platform trying to like send my message out, and it was like exhausting. And it's like, actually, this place, I'm going to choose the ones I love that I know that my clients are on too, so that I can have this sustainable practice and way of being. Another thing is, don't ignore group rules about posting on other pages. So in a little while, I'm going to share with you some different ways that you can start to connect with other people. But each group has rules. And the minute you kind of step over, so one example of this is one group has share your offer on Mondays in this particular post. But if you share it on Fridays, you're going to get kicked out of the group. So it's really good to be aware of the different limitations different groups have. You also want to create a Facebook business page. Even if you don't really put much content, it's a landing page. People can find you there and at least have a link to your website, some of the offerings that you're doing. You want to create Facebook event pages for workshops and courses, like I said, so people can share them. They can post them on their walls, they can share with their friends, they can be like, oh, you'll be really interested in this. You also want to connect with others by liking or following their pages. This is also about community building, and it's not just about community building with our clients, it's also about community building with each other. Because if, for example, I know that Sarah, for example, works with the elderly, and I'm like, whoa, actually, I have someone who's just contacted me with all these clients. Please, can I refer them to you? And she's like, yes, right? So the more we have these contacts and we're able to network, and actually, as a side note, I do, if anybody works with teens, please reach out to me because I need somebody to run some groups. So please, and I'm going to post it in their Facebook group later. Anyway, that's a little side note. So yes, do connect with others by liking or following their pages. Do create content that you love and that are inspired by. You know, a lot of what I talk about is limbic resonance. We want to evoke a feeling in people, a feeling in ourselves. And if that's not there, we're not going to transmit that, right? Let's imagine that I'm just like, oh God, I've got to post 5 posts today. And I come with that energy. That's what's going to be felt, right? So we want to be what inspires me and my clients. What is giving me energy? Also, don't forget to create a social media policy and have it available as a file in your groups and on your website.